Roberto, where should I put my signature story? In the beginning of my talk, the middle of my talk, or in the end of my talk? The answer is what? It depends. That's Roberto here, Roberto with InfluenceOlogy. The reason I'm recording this video is because I have received this question so many times to say, no, it's time for me to record a video because I'm sure it's going to help you. Now, obviously, if you're an influencer and if you have been involved in our community, you know the importance of telling your signature story. Now, some people call signature story, some people call your personal story, some people call the influencer story. I call the influencer story. Now, basically, every time you speak in front of a group of people that don't know you, they want to know, okay, who is this person, why he's here, what's his intention. And you can say, hi, my name is Bob, I'm a dentist, and I'm here to help you improve your health. Or, hi, my name is Bob, chiropractor, I'm here to improve your health. My name is Bob, I'm a realtor, I'm here to help you sell your home. All right? So, obviously, you can say that, but what we found is that when you answer this question of who you are, why you're there, within a story format is way more influential. Roberto, why? Because storytelling is programmed in our minds for many years. Now, in our classes, we go into over 20 reasons why you should be telling stories, and that's from the video here. Now, this video is for more advanced people who already are telling their personal story, right? Who they are, why they're there, in the context of their business. Now, I've seen, and I've done it, and I coached people to put the presentations in 3 different spots, and I want to tell you in this video my favorite one. Either you can tell in the beginning of the presentation, 1, 2, you can make your whole presentation story, number 3, you can put in the end. So let's talk about the pros and cons of using a personal story. When you put a personal story, let's call personal story here, but basically it's a story about who you are, why you're there, and why you're there talking about your topic, okay? Like, for example, my case is my story about how I got involved into coaching, public speaking coaching, presentation coaching, and why I'm there talking to them, the audience. My go-to method is always in the beginning. Why? Because it is a chance for me to be vulnerable and to build up a connection, to build up identification so the audience and I feel like, oh yeah, the person has something, Roberto has something common with me. I reveal and I tell them that I'm not perfect. Obviously, I'm not perfect. You already know that. But the audience be like, oh, why this guy is speaking here? So that the resistance goes down and you have this connection, have this fun. Obviously, there's a structure to build up your personal story. We're not going to cover this video here. But I prefer to do in the beginning. Now, Roberto, but if you tell your story about you, isn't the presentation about them? Yes, you're right. The presentation is always about the audience, not about me. But it's kind of like my belief system is that I have to go there first and to let the audience to come in and say, hey, you know what, this is a good guy. His intentions are good. He wants to help us. That's why. Now, that's my preferred method. Now, that's the pros is that you build up connection really fast and you explain your topic. If you know what you're doing, if you tell a story in the beginning, it can help you frame your entire message, your system, your product that you sell in the end or promote in the end. Really cool. Now, the cons is that if you make a story only about you, then the audience won't like you. Why is this talking about him? So there's an art to it. There's a science, the structure, and the art to it. So you gotta tell your personal story, but you gotta make it about them. It's a really art to do it. I prefer the beginning. Now, some people who are super advanced, okay, they get their personal story or their journey and they make the entire presentation. Now, I like this method as well. It's just you gotta be really good. You know why? Because let's say you're speaking for half an hour and you're telling a journey, how you started all the way to that moment. You're gonna be in and out of your story to providing some valuable content for the audience. Get it? So yes, you're guiding them through the journey, your journey, to explaining why you're there, whatever the presentation length is, half an hour, 15 minutes, an hour, 2 hours. But then at some point, you want to make sure you're talking about your journey, but you got to add value to your audience. So So if you make the whole thing about you, then it's not good. It is a problem. So I have done it, and I have coached our clients to do it. Yes, you can tell your whole thing becomes almost like a biography, but as you're delivering that, you are providing value and tips and bring the audience in. That's why it takes more skill. Right? Now, the pros of doing that is that it becomes a masterpiece, really almost like a movie, a biography. It's really cool. The cons that if you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna lose the audience, because most people, they're gonna be talking about themselves, and the whole time they'll be like, dude, why I'm here? Why I'm listening to this guy? So, because remember, if you're using this format, then you're gonna be in and out of the story to provide value to them, tips to bring the audience in. So always make information about them, the audience. And the third way to use a personal story or signature story, or some people call the hero story or the influencer story too, in the end presentation. I've seen that a lot in businesses. I personally don't like that. Because people say, Roberto, I learned so-and-so told me that I gotta finish up a presentation on a high note, emotional close. Yes, I agree with that too. But you can use a presentation, a high emotional note with emotional close with someone else's story, other story. You can ask a lot of questions, you can show a video. There's other ways to engage the audience emotionally. When people are telling a personal story in the end, I ask them why. First thing they tell me is like, well, because I want to finish up strong with an emotional close. Say, I get that. That's a good reason. And what else? Well, because I want to build up connection with the audience. So I go, okay, so you spoke for 45 minutes, and then only then the last two, you're going to tell a personal story, why you're there, what's the purpose, your mission? Makes no sense for me. So, yeah, I've done it with a couple of speakers who are very, very, very advanced. You can put it off, right? It's not like you cannot do it, you can. I prefer in the beginning, because if you frame your reason for being there as part of your mission, your purpose, your sole purpose, then people literally the audience will feel you, right? So don't wait to the end. Now you can tell another personal story that happens to you and make super emotional too. But when you talk about this core story, signature story, your hero's journey story, or the influencer story, I recommend either, my preference would be A in the beginning, not the first thing though, right? But within after 3, 4, 5 minutes, go into it. I prefer that. Why? Connection, rapport, identification. You reveal something to your audience, so they'll be like, okay, I trust this person. That's my favorite option. Number 2, if you're more advanced, you make a story the whole thing, but again, you gotta be able to go in and out to provide value. Number 3, in the end, can work. I'm not saying that cannot work. Can work, but the reasons people tell me I'm doing a presentation at the end is to finish up with an emotional close. You can tell any story with an emotional close. And the second reason they tell me to build up connection. Well, but then you're telling the end, why are you missing 45 minutes of rapport? So that's my 2 cents on where you should incorporate your story, the reasons why you're speaking to the audience. If you want to learn more about storytelling, influence, public speaking, presentation, then just go to www.influenceology.com, www.influenceology.com. And if you're watching this video on YouTube, you know what to do. Just subscribe to our channel. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.